Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a massive, paradigm-shifting leap in AI that is quite literally going to disrupt government intelligence gathering as we know it. We're talking about a fundamental fusion between two totally different systems, a highly secure AI brain on one side and an open-source global sensor grid on the other. Brought together, they create something the intelligence community has been desperately waiting for, an AI that can actually independently verify its own conclusions against physical reality.
But to really get why this is such a game changer, we have to start by looking at a pretty massive problem. What happens when an AI makes a life-or-death intelligence mistake? I mean, think about it. In a customer service chatbot, an AI hallucination is, well, it's embarrassing. But in high-stakes government and military intelligence, being confidently wrong has disastrous, completely irreversible consequences. If an AI hallucinates a military buildup, you can't just hit the undo button. The issue is that standard language models are basically blind. They have absolutely no way to look out the window and check if the data they're being fed is actually true.
And that perfectly sets up this pivotal quote from the Fusion Design Study. It says, ShadowBroker is a sensor grid with no memory. Phoenix Daemon is a memory with no senses. It really hits the nail on the head regarding the missing piece thesis. Right now, our intelligence systems are either blindly smart, capable of deep reasoning but totally disconnected from reality, or they're mindlessly observant, just soaking up vast oceans of data without a drop of judgment to understand what it actually means.
So, let's break this down, starting with Section 1, Phoenix Daemon, the brain. You can think of Phoenix Daemon as the ultimate, highly secure AI brain. It is custom-built for highly regulated environments where an auditor is always going to demand to see exactly how a specific decision was made. It's incredibly rigorous. We're not just talking about generating text here. It runs through an 18-stage cognitive pipeline with a 5-layer persistent memory. It actually remembers past decisions and the exact documents it used to justify them. It even has a strict 4-tier action gate. That means it literally cannot take irreversible action without a cryptographic human approval token. But there's a huge catch. It is entirely blind to the physical world. No maps, no satellite feeds, no live telemetry whatsoever.
That brings us right into Section 2, ShadowBroker, the senses.
Okay, so Phoenix Daemon is our brain in a jar. ShadowBroker is the ultimate set of eyes and ears for the globe. It's an open-source intelligence platform that provides an absolutely unprecedented real-time global sensor grid. We are talking about aggregating over 40 public live feeds across 60 map layers. It gets sub-60-second telemetry updates tracking 25,000 ships, military aircraft, wildfires, and even radar-detected ground movement. But it has a completely empty socket for cognition. There is no bundled AI agent, no memory. It can show you a ship moving across the ocean, sure, but it has no earthly idea if that movement violates a sanctions policy that was decided 3 months ago.
So just look at that stark contrast. On one side, we have deep, safe, heavily auditable memory that is fundamentally blind, and on the other side, we have this real-time global sensory apparatus that is effectively brain-dead. The functional overlap between these two systems is essentially zero, but their complementarity, it is absolute.
Which leads us to Section 3. The ultimate AI fusion. Brain meets senses.
So, what actually happens when you synthesize these two powerhouses? Crucially, this setup keeps all the intelligence logic securely locked behind a proprietary network boundary. It treats ShadowBroker purely as a read-only sensor appliance. They interact through this incredible process called claim-to-sensor verification. Instead of an AI just blindly reading a news report and accepting it as gospel truth, the Fuse system ingests a textual claim, normalizes it into a specific, checkable proposition, like a precise time and location, and then routes it directly to an independent physical sensor. It literally forces the AI to corroborate textual words with actual physics.
This right here is where theoretical AI gets grounded in gritty reality. For example, if a newsfeed claims there's an airstrike at location Z, the AI doesn't just cross-reference other news websites. It actually checks ShadowBroker for a thermal hotspot, seismic activity, and vegetation disturbance. If a post says Airport Y is shut down, it instantly pulls live ADS-B flight departure data and compares it against a 28-day baseline. The AI is mapping narrative assertions directly to physics-derived reliability.
And honestly, this leads to perhaps the most powerful differentiator of the entire fusion. It creates the only AI system in this space that can actually revoke a conclusion. Think about that. If physical facts change, if a sensor is spoofed, or a newsfeed is later proven false, the AI performs what's basically a product recall for intelligence.
Because it rigorously tracks the exact dependency chain of every single memory, it can instantly quarantine every report, brief, or insight that relied on that poisoned data across the entire deployment.
Now let's move into Section 4, Unleashing Superpersonas. By giving this hyper-secure brain access to physical senses, organizations can build entirely unprecedented POG groups, highly specialized teams of AI entities. But before we meet them, what exactly is a persona in this severed Postgres isolated database architecture? It is definitely not just another chatbot prompt. A persona is a named, isolated AI agent running inside its own memory namespace. It has its own dedicated communication channels, specific tool permissions, and a code-enforced safety policy. So, if the DevOps persona and the compliance persona are sitting on the exact same server, they literally cannot see each other's data.
Working together in these isolated POG groups, these entities take on critical intelligence roles we've just never seen before, directly empowering government intelligence gathering. For instance, a government can deploy a biosurveillance persona that proactively cross-references wastewater pathogen data with live commercial air travel volumes. You could have a critical infrastructure officer that automatically monitors physical power grids, or an information integrity analyst that impartially detects when political narratives radically diverge from physical ground truth. By enforcing strict operational rules, the AI simply observes reality objectively. It doesn't adopt biased terminology from any side of the political spectrum.
Finally, let's explore Section 5, Preventing the Next Crisis.
This fusion fundamentally empowers intelligence operations and enables a massive leap forward when it comes to preventative measures. We are witnessing a total paradigm shift. The old paradigm was entirely reactive. You're relying on unverified news, you're vulnerable to spoofed sources, and you're building confidence based on single text documents. The new paradigm? It is predictive. It uses physics-derived source reliability through automatic claim to sensor corroboration, and AI's confidence in a threat only scales up when independent physical telemetry actually confirms it.
And that brings us to a really critical number, 40. Over 40 live global telemetry feeds continuously streaming into an AI that never sleeps, never forgets, and requires cryptographic proof before it ever acts. The absolute core takeaway of this new era is this: information itself is no longer the scarce asset. The scarce asset is verified information, backed instantly by independent physical evidence that either corroborates or refutes every single claim.
For years, the biggest fear has been an AI hallucinating inside a closed box, isolated from reality. But by fusing the persistent memory and strict safety of Phoenix Daemon with the real-time global senses of ShadowBroker, we have finally given AI the ability to look out the window. So I'll leave you with this. When an autonomous intelligence system can independently verify the physical world in real time, what crisis will we prevent next?